Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today for this live stream event. My name is Alexia, and I am the Project and Event Manager at the Microsoft Reactor Toronto. We will share session resources with you in the chat, and please feel free to ask any questions that you may have there as well. But before we begin, I'd like to quickly review two items with you, our code of conduct and our event guidelines. So first, our code of conduct, please take a moment to go through it. Microsoft Reactor seeks to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. As mentioned before, we encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. Going to our event guidelines, this session is recorded and will be available on demand through our Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel in about 24 to 48 hours. I will share the link in the chat for our channel a bit later. And if you've not been on a live stream before on YouTube, please note that you will have to create an account on YouTube in order to access the chat as well as interact in it. You can set that up now, and if you're unable to use the chat but have questions, please feel free to reach out to us through social media or on Meetup. Which brings us to today's session. We have Bruno here. Let me add our speaker here. Hi, Bruno. How is it going?
Hey, Alexia. How are you?
Very good. So we're here for the first episode of how GitHub Copilot is helping my daily work at Microsoft. We're super excited for this whole series in March. Episode 1, day 1. Let the show begin.
Awesome. Let me put my screen here. Hey, we can start. So hello, everyone. Bruno Capuano here. I'm a cloud advocate for the Microsoft Reactor in Toronto. I am in my office right now. It's brand new, painted in blue, and I'm a 40 years old white person. I am wearing a black t-shirt with basically if it works, do not touch it, because I like it, because I like to remember that stuff is there. And today I am going to talk about Copilot and how I'm using Copilot. I'm going to make a very quick intro to Copilot. Copilot is this amazing technology that probably seen here. This is a promotional video of Copilot that you basically said, hey, Copilot, help me to auto-complete my code. And if you define a function like send tweet, it will automatically going to suggest you the code that you need to do the tweet. I've been using Copilot a lot because I've been using Visual Studio Code a lot. And this is an extension for Visual Studio. So I was talking and I decided to share basically my experience using Copilot in the main language that I use in Visual Studio, which are Python, C++, and C#. Also, Copilot is super helpful when you write MarkDown. So I'm going to share this other language and MarkDown in the next sessions. And the final will be, I'm going to use Copilot to basically control a Roomba Vacuum. So that's kind of the idea. And today I'm going to explain very, very quickly. There is a lot of videos and people who already explain what is Copilot, how Copilot is built, etc. And I'm going to go directly to the code, to show code in Python about how we can work with images, work with files. Mostly, I am not going to write code. It's going to be all Copilot. So that's kind of the idea. And then I'm going to share a couple of lessons learned here. As Alicia mentioned, we use the chat. I just shared the chat. I am looking to the chat. If you have any question, that's the place to connect. And I will try to have an eye there to see how I can, if you have any question I can help, I will be happy to go there. James asking a question. Okay, so let me start and I will go back to the question around how Copilot works. So the idea is that Copilot is part of, it's come in Visual Studio as a Microsoft product, but it's also part of a partnership that is with OpenAI. And in OpenAI, they created a model, a machine learning model named Codex, using tons, terabytes of public codes and comments to get a model that basically, when you ask something to Copilot, it will automatically try to suggest a solution, and you can even see at least 10 alternatives to that solution. Again, there are plenty of videos that explain how this works, how we are going to use this, and the idea is that it's embedded and it's kind of side by side with you in GitHub. So if you already, and that's my slides, I don't have any more slides. If you already are using Visual Studio Code, I will strongly suggest you, and you are not using Copilot, to go to copilot.github.com. Let me show you the URL here. So if you navigate copilot.github.com, you can enroll in the technical preview program. There are several webs that they are advancing, that they are releasing, we're accepting people into the program. And once you are accepted, it will take a couple of days or a couple of months. I really don't know how this works internally, but you are going to be able to go to your Visual Studio Code, and when you are here, navigate to extensions, and in extension, you search for Copilot. You are going to be able to install the extensions. You will need to authenticate yourself with your GitHub credentials, and then, that's it. You can start to use Copilot. Super simple, super easy. And once you do these ABCs, and again, this is basically joining the program, wait until you are accepted, and once you are accepted, you can get here. The idea is that you can start to use it, and how you can use Copilot, how Copilot works, how Copilot help you in your day by day. So if I create, today it's going to be all around Python. Next week, I am going to do C++, then C#, and then I will control my vacuum with Copilot. Once you have Copilot installed, you are going to see that you have this little icon here in your Visual Studio Code, that is the Compilot Agent working locally, and this agent is going to analyze your code all the time. So the hello world for Copilot is usually, let's define a function to add two numbers, and when I do this, we are going to see that this gray code that you see here, let me go back here, is a suggestion from Copilot. So it suggests me to add two arguments, L1 and L2, that is going to be nodes or values and whatever. So just reading the name of the function, Copilot is trying to help me. I don't want to do this. I want to basically do A plus and B, and take a look there. This is the next suggestion. I have two numbers. So what I am going to do, what Copilot is suggesting me to do is to, if you want to add two numbers, A and B, this is what you need to do. It's super easy to, it's not easy. At the beginning, it was kind of hard to understand, to get a flow of programming using Copilot, because you are spending a lot of time reading Copilot's suggestions. You start to see questions, you start to type, and you start to see suggestions. So you stop your thinking process where you are trying to solve a problem, and you start to figure out that, this is Copilot's suggestion, that it makes sense, it's good or bad, what should I do? So you need to get used to do this, and it's nice, it's something amazing. The next step here is to, I can also go here and say, you know what? Let's figure out other solutions. Remembering that I tell that you have kind of a solution, a proposed solution by Copilot in your code editor, and then you have a couple more here that you can start to add. So you can say, okay, I like this one, I like this other one, and yada. So that's it. That's perfect. This is Copilot on the go. This is the hello world. But how about if I want to do something real? What about if I want to, in example, list all of the files that are in my directory? So I can write a comment. It's going to read on real time what I am typing, but it's also going to react to comments. So if I put something here, like an example, list all the files that are bigger than 4 megabytes here, what I am going to see here is that Copilot at any moment is going to start to suggest a couple of solutions. Depending on the language and depending on the environment, you are going to have a line-by-line solution or code solution. In Python, it's line by line. So if I press, again, Control-Enter, I will start to see all of the solution. I see that James here, I'm sorry, I'm going to start to show the questions and the answer. So what is the keystroke to accept the solution? I think it's tab. I am so used to do this that if I don't sync, if I press tab, I will have the gray code. And if I go with Control-Enter to the full set of solution, I have this accept solution kind of link here that I can use to accept this one. But let's take a look at this. I love it. This is kind of amazing. I ask Copilot, hey, Copilot, give me a piece of code to basically, in the current directory that I'm working, list all of the files that are bigger than 4 megabytes. And I have this. I have a super cool piece of code where in my current directory are going to find the file name. If this is a file, I'm going to have the size, and I am going to print the name. That's good. That's kind of an idea. That's kind of a way that we can use Copilot. And to be honest with you, Copilot is great, suggesting code, but right now I am not using Control-Enter. Yes, Control-Enter. With Control-Enter, you see, sorry about that, reading the comments, when I have some kind of a requirement for Copilot like this, if I go here and I press Control-Enter, I will open these new windows on the sides, the GitHub CoPilot panel, where I'm going to start to see the solutions. If I write something here, like an example, add 2 numbers, and I have this gray code, I press tab, and I have my line. And because this is a solution with 2 lines, I press tab again, and I accepted the next solution. So that's kind of the way that works. But going back here, what I realize is that, hey, I can do this. I can ask all of the files that are bigger than 4 megabytes. I can ask very specific scenarios to be solved using Copilot, but it doesn't make sense if I want to do something super big. So like create a solution that lists all the files that are bigger than 4 megabytes, include test and acceptance criteria. So if I do something like this, it's going to start to struggle to see what I can suggest. You see right now that it's only suggests some kind of imports, and I don't see if I am going to see some code. It's suggesting me more comments. So right now, for me, what I realized that Copilot works great when I ask very specific tasks to do. So these are the files that are bigger. I can even sample. The other day I realized that if I ask something like list all the files that contains the word Bruno in their name, let's see what Copilot is doing here. Control-Enter. Let's start to take a look at the solutions. And hey, I like it. Example, the first one, the first one use Bruno in file. The second one works with Bruno with the file name.fine. The third one is similar, but if I import the first one, hey, it's kind of great to solve this. And it's great to do other stuff. It's great if we want to do, in example, something like I am opening files right now, but I can start to do other tasks like open a CSV file and sort the data. Take a look at this. It's suggesting me the comments. It's suggesting me the action that I want to do, which is basically what I am going to ask here. Open a CSV file and sort the data by the first column. So what is going to suggest me in a couple of seconds? Control-Enter. Let's take a look how it suggests to open a file, read the CSV, and then sort the data. So first solution is using a reader, then it's using a sort with a lambda, and then it's trying to, it's going to write back a file here. I don't want to do this. It's going to write I want this. I want this one, which is going to print the data. So in this one, I select the wrong one. Let me do something like this. Open a CSV file, so the data fields column, and then print the results. So if I ask to open a file, sort the data, and then print the results, instead of writing a new file, what is going to suggest me is going to import CSV, never play around with CSV, so it's a nice moment to learn something, open a file, do a sort, and then do a print. So if I accept this solution, and I have somewhere here a super simple file, copy, and I put it here. This is my file, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I change the name of the file to demo01 CSV. I can start, let's delete this. I can start to run this Python file, S5, probably. I don't know if I have CSV, probably it's there. So here, sort by this. Somehow my one is not a one. That's weird. My one, the number one, it's probably have some weird character at the beginning. So it's not a number one, it's have something else. But hey, I ask Copilot to open a CSV file and sort the data by the first column, and 5 seconds later, I have a solution. So very, very small task. Copilot is great. It's helping me a lot if I want to do something similar like this. So let's create a new file. And I do demo image. I do a lot of computer vision, and I use a lot of OpenCV. But anytime that I'm using OpenCV, I always forget how to do A's, B's, and C's. So the idea is that, hey, if I want to do something, like an example, let's do CV2, that's OpenCV, that's the namespace for OpenCV, and I want to do open an image file. So it's going to suggest right now, how can I read an image? So I'm going to say image, demo1, sort DPN. Oh, sorry. So I open an image file, which is usually the next step when you open an image. You want to show the image. Take a look at this. It's automatically suggesting me the next step. You open an image and you want to show the image. So yes, let's show the image. Next code, CV2, OpenCV, show the image that we just opened. And then the next step is usually wait for a key press. You have a window, a modal window showing the image. So we need to wait for the key press. And then we wait for the key press. And then we need to close the image windows. And this is usually OpenCV destroyer windows. That's it. So I literally didn't write any code here. I only write OpenCV, import the CV2, and then open an image file, and Copilot guides me step by step to open the image, show the image, wait for the key press, and destroy the windows. Let's give this a try. I have an image somewhere here. Let me copy this. Says here. So let's copy this. Bruno and Encanto. Just in case. This is the one that we want. So let's do this, Bruno and Encanto. So I will copy the two images. There they are, Bruno and Encanto, and you probably know what is this about. And if I go here to my demo image and I change the name for Bruno.jpg, if I have all of my path correctly, I press S5, and this will open the image, show the image in a Windows. This is my Windows, and when I press a key, it's going to close the image. If I change this for the other one, Bruno, Encanto, and I run this again, it's going to basically show the other image, which is basically the Bruno that we don't talk about. Bruno. And again, I didn't write any line of code. I did everything here with a suggestion. What's happened if I want to convert the image to a grayscale. An example. Let's apply some effects. Convert the image to grayscale. So it's going to say, okay, what I am going to do, again, super cool suggestion. I am going to pick up the image that we open here, and I am going to use a CVT color, sorry about that, the function that we have in OpenCV that allows me to convert this to a grayscale, and I will have a new image, a new matte object, which is going to be gray. So, I am going to do this, and let me show the two images, gray, and let's show gray here, and let's work with the initial one. So let's change the name of this window, original, to original and then gray, and start to run this. Again, I am just writing comments and tweaking the output, but you can take a look here what I just done. I basically pick up the original image, open the image, apply an effect, super simple effect, show, convert a new image to gray, and here I am. I work with images. In a very similar way, I can start to do, I don't know, let's add artist effect to the image. Let's see, add a border to the image. Let's see how it works. Let me go here to the solutions, and let's take a look at possible solutions here. In the meantime, let's take a look at the comments. Let's use the copy image border. Yes. So let's name this new image border image, and show this in a new border image. Border. In the meantime, I see a couple of questions here. So Tiago, yes, Copilot is great. I literally use Copilot so much these days that I forget a lot of stuff. If I need to sort an array sometimes, and I didn't realize I'm doing this right, I ask Copilot, I take a look at the Copilot code versus my code, and oh my God, this is good, this is great. If I need to add a border to image, like something like this, you just see, it literally took 10 seconds from my side to show this and to add a border. And by the way, adding the border is super simple, but if you ask more complex questions, it's going to be there. So in example, let's switch to the latest demo, and I will open this for the questions. Let's add a new file, and let's go into send tweet.py. So I want to send a tweet. It's been a long time since I sent a tweet using some kind of API. So if I ask something like send a tweet, let's figure out what Copilot is going to suggest. Control-Enter, go to the solution, and oh my God. So I remember this library. I remember tweet.py. I see here that sometimes it doesn't suggest the code. It suggests just a set of imports. So let's do tweet.py. Tweet.py. I will say it in Spanish. Sorry about that. And then let's figure out what to do. So I am going to try to do this without writing any code. So tab. So it didn't complete the solution. So send a tweet to Twitter. Yes, we're going to send a tweet to Twitter with tweet.py. Oh, that's a great question, Victor. Let me show it question. So Victor says that does Copilot archive all my code into its AI? Will my code snippet appear in your suggested code? No, it's not going to appear. It's not going to archive your code. It's not going to suggest your code. It's going to use your code to improve the model, but sometimes the suggestions, because they are very, very similar. So what we have, I don't know, if you add two numbers, return A plus B is kind of 99.99% of the solutions, and somehow Copilot went crazy here. It's not working, but it's not going to suggest your code. It's going to suggest the model what's learning from your code, but sometimes it's very, very similar. And I like James' question here. And sorry, I'm jumping between questions. Somehow the Twitter is not working, but I'm going to show you what it just creates. What's happened? And let's give it a try. What's happened with if I ask for print the first odd perfect number? First, I will. So it suggests a function here, which is kind of nice. And let's see how it works. So it suggests a number. Somehow it's using, I know that this is not what you were looking for because it's expecting a number and you are looking for, I'm guessing that you are looking for the first, the first one. So, sorry. But hey, this is Copilot on your, this is other thing that you need to understand of Copilot. Sometimes you are going to have a suggestion, you are going to have a proposal, and then it's going to be up to us to see, okay, this is work, this is what I'm expecting or not. It usually is very good. So let me try to go back to send tweet. So let me try to go back to my solutions. I don't know why I is not getting solutions here. There it is. This is the one that I want to do. Let's give it a try to the first one. So here we have basically code with the consumer key, consumer secrets, access key, and we need to update the tweet. So hello from Copilot and Microsoft Reactor. And what I am going to do is super quickly, let me move this to my other window, complete the consumer key, complete the send key. Oh, I don't have it here. Let me go back to, I don't have my developer tweets here, so open this, sorry, moving to the other window, and let me copy my credentials. In the meantime, I will start to see if we have any other questions. Keys. So I am going to change this as soon as we finish, but this is my consumer key. This is my consumer API secret. This is my access token. And this is my access token secret. So I have here how to send a tweet, API credentials, consumer, everything here. Let's run this. And a couple of seconds later, if I go back to, oh, I didn't have installed TweetP. Oh, sorry about that. Let me run this from a terminal. And in the meantime, I will also open Twitter here. So and tweet. So let me show you my, this is my Twitter account. The last tweet that I have is this one with Python. So if I run the send tweet, go back to my account, refresh the page, I should have here my hello from Copilot from Microsoft Reactor. Again, I haven't sent a tweet in a very long time, but thanks to Copilot, I basically have all of this available for me and 10 lines of code I could send it. Let's go for questions, super quick. We have a couple of minutes. Does it help for unit testing? Yes, you can write here. If I go back and send this send tweet, I do something like this, and I said something like generate a test for send tweet. So here it will start to suggest some. I don't make it right, but you can start to generate tests. You can start to use it to generate tests, to generate everything that you have. And as you see, I open images, send tweets, do a lot of stuff directly without writing any lines of code. We are on the time, so sorry about that. Alexia, we need to switch to the other ones. I will continue to take a look. Next week, I am going to do something similar using C++, more around Azure IoT. Thank you very much, everyone. If you want to have a deeper conversation, please let us know. I can do this for an hour if you want, showing more complex scenario. And if you have some scenarios that we want to cover, how Copilot is helping us, hey, let's use the Reactor space to talk about this. Thanks, everyone. Let me go back here and finally say that feel free to join us. We will be happy if you join us. Follow us on Twitter, join us the YouTube channel, and hey, see you next one. Goodbye.